I swear the drums always played at night in our village. No matter how quiet things got, you could hear them in the distance, calling out. That night, though, there was silence. Thick, choking silence that made the air feel heavy. I didn't know why, but I knew something was wrong. My name is Daniel, and this happened years ago when I was just a boy. Our village was small, tucked between the hills in eastern Nigeria. Everyone knew everyone, and nothing stayed secret for long. Especially not when it involved love, real or forbidden. The story started with Adan. She was the most beautiful woman in our village, with a smile that could light up even the darkest of nights. Everyone thought she'd marry someone from our people, the Igbo. But Adan had other plans. She fell in love with Musa, a young man from the Fulani tribe, who worked as a cattle herder. They met at the market one day, and from then on, they were inseparable. It didn't matter to them that our people didn't mix. It didn't matter that the elders whispered or that Adan's father, Chief Uche, threatened to disown her. They loved each other and swore they'd marry, no matter what. Then came that night, the night the drum stopped. I was lying on my mat, listening to the usual sounds of the village, the crickets, the frogs, and the steady beat of the distant drums. Suddenly, it all went quiet. Not a single sound. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. I crept out of the house to see what was happening. Down by the big Iroko tree, there was a fire. Not a celebratory one, but small and angry, with shadows that danced in strange ways. People were gathered around it. I saw Adan, standing there with her head high, and Musa beside her, his hands tied behind his back. Chief Uche was there, his face hard like stone. He wasn't alone. Several elders stood behind him, their eyes glinting in the firelight. "This is your last chance," Chief Uche said, his voice cutting through the silence. "You will leave him and save yourself, Adan. This man doesn't belong here." Adan shook her head. "I love him," she said, her voice steady. "I will marry him, even if you all hate me for it." The crowd hissed. Some people shouted. "She has brought a curse on us," one woman cried. "Our ancestors will not bless this union." The elders nodded, their faces grim. Chief Uche raised his hand, and the crowd went silent. Then he said something I'll never forget. "If you marry this man, you will not leave this place alive." I froze. The words hung in the air like a curse. Adan didn't flinch, but I could see her trembling. Musa struggled against his ropes, but two men held him down. "What are they going to do?" I whispered to my older brother, who had crept out behind me. "They are going to make them an example," he whispered back, his face pale. Before anyone could stop her, Adan dropped to her knees. "If you must take a life, take mine," she said. "But leave Musa. He has done nothing wrong." Chief Uche hesitated. For the first time, I saw doubt in his eyes. But the elders murmured behind him, urging him on. And then it happened. A loud, piercing scream tore through the air, not from the fire or the people, but from the forest. Everyone froze. The scream came again, closer this time, like a woman wailing in pain. The shadows around the fire seemed to twist and stretch, forming shapes that shouldn't have been there. People started backing away, muttering about spirits. Even the elders looked afraid. Only Adan stood her ground, staring into the darkness. The scream came a third time, and suddenly, the fire died. Just like that, we were plunged into complete darkness. When the fire was relit minutes later, Musa was gone. His ropes lay in the dirt, cut clean. No one saw who did it or how. Adan, too, was nowhere to be found. The next morning, we searched everywhere but found no trace of them. Some said they ran into the forest, escaping the village. Others believed the spirits took them as punishment or protection. To this day, no one knows for sure. The drums never played again after that night. Some say it's because the ancestors were angry. Others think it's because Adan's spirit still roams, looking for Musa. All I know is, whenever I walk by that Iroko tree, I feel cold, even on the hottest days. And sometimes, if the wind is just right, I swear I hear the faint sound of drums. This shows that real love still exists.